Before the 1987 Constitution, we have provisional freedom constitution provided for an orderly transfer of power while a constitutional commission was drafting a permanent constitution. On April 23, 1986, President Corazon Aquino issued Proclamation Number 9 that creates a constitutional commission to frame a new constitution, which is the 1987 Constitution. In Proclamation Number 9, the qualified member of the Constitutional Commission should be a qualified voter and natural-born citizen of the Philippines. The Constitution was completed and ratified on February 2, 1987 by a plebiscite or voting system, and it was proclaimed by President Aquino on February 11, 1987.
The 1987 Constitution was said to be mostly based on the American Constitution, which had greatly influenced the 1935 Constitution, and stated that it also contained Spanish, Roman, and Anglo. Aside from three separate and independent branches, which are the executive, legislative, and judiciary, there are also independent constitutional commissions, such as the Commission on Audit, the Civil Service Commission, and the Commission on Elections. The Commission on Audit evaluates the government's and its agencies' finances, transactions, and property accounts, while the Civil Service Commission is the government's central body which is in charge of employments or workers. Commission on Election, on the other hand, enforce and govern both rules and regulations to ensure that elections are fair and transparent for all the parties involved.
One of the salient features of the 1987 Constitution is it granted the President broad powers to reorganize government and remove officials, as well as mandating the President to appoint a commission to draft a new, more formal constitution. This salient feature of the 1987 Constitution has two main powers. First is to mandate, govern, and restrict the officials in our current government if there are anomalous actions that is happening with their governance. Like for example, those evil politicians and plunderers who robs our nation's wealth, the President has the power to eliminate them, as long as there are evidences. Second is to appoint a new officials who govern different sectors in the government. Same from the first power, the President will replace officials if there are inconsistency under their administration. Like for example, President Duterte placed Lieutenant General Guillermo Eleazar as the new PNP chief because of the infamous birthday party of the ex-PNP chief Tibolsinas. He was dethroned as the PNP chief because there are a lot of inconsistency during his governance.
It has been a document truly reflective of the ideals and aspirations of the Filipino people. People power challenge endeavors to form changes within the political prepare of a given state. It alludes to a revolution driven by respectful society mobilization which result in a reconfiguration of political control in a given state. The people's choice when opposition leader Benigno Aquino Jr. was assassinated upon returning from exile in 1983. Widespread outrage forced Marcos to hold snap election a year early. The election was marked by fraud on the part of Marcos and his supporters, but Marcos had himself declared the winner constitutionally amidst international condemnation and nationwide domestic protest. A small band of military rebels tried to mount a coup, which failed because of its discovery, but his triggered what became internationally celebrated as the People Power Revolution, when droves of people spilled out onto the streets to protect the rebels, eventually numbering well over 1 million.
Attempt to amend or change the 1987 Constitution. There are such people back then who attempt to change the 1987 Constitution, and it happened under President Fidel V. Ramos. The first attempt was in 1995 from Jose Almonte, Secretary of the National Security Council. He drafted the Constitution, but in the end, he did not succeed. Second, in 1997, from the group of PIRMA, or People's Initiative for Reform, Modernization, and Action, and it was through the gathering signatures from the voters. People Initiative, but the Supreme Court, under Chief Justice Andres Narvaza, dismissed their petition in the reason that People's Initiative Mood is not accredited for revision or change the 1987 Constitution. And lastly, the other person who tried to attempt was our former president of 2001 to 2016 named Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. Although there are people who attempt to amend the 1978 institution, no one of them succeed because they do not reach ratification or referendum stage.